and gentlemen, and welcome to the school committee meeting of Monday, February 28th, 2022. First on tonight's agenda is the acceptance of the meeting minutes of February 14th, 2022. We will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor? Thank you. That's a vote. Seeing nothing under audience, we'll go to reports. We have monthly reports for November and December. We have four different reports that we will need to approve. Reports for the school department, the high school student activities, middle school student activities, and cafeteria. We'll entertain four motions.
Four motions to approve.
We have four motions, and we'll look for 4 seconds.
Four seconds.
Go ahead, Melissa. 4 seconds.
All those in favor? That's a vote. Jinx. Next up on tonight's agenda, under item B, is our curriculum corner, and we're blessed to have some folks with us from Jefferson School. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. So we are here today to talk about Bridges in the Classroom. Bridges is the new math program that's been implemented at the elementary school level. We are the grade 4 team here at Jefferson. I'm Jade Frenny.
Susan Wells.
Jillian Flaherty. So we decided to focus on the strengths and the challenges to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of the things that are working really well and things that we are finding are difficult with rolling it out, just being that it's the first year. So we're going to focus on number corner, rigor, and materials. So number corner is an aspect of Bridges. It's about 10 to 15 minutes, and it's been great for pre-teaching skills and is really engaging for the students. So we found success in incorporating these skills in small group learning during win time. So that's a block that we have for small group and for extra support with some of those things that the students need. Bridges has provided all of the manipulatives necessary to do this. So at the beginning of the year, each teacher was given all of the manipulatives they'd need for this program. And we found that the number corner really lends itself to small group work. So we take the manipulatives we've gotten, we take the number corner student book that they have, and any of the extra daily practice sheets, and we use them to work with students to really focus on the things that maybe they're struggling with, that they need a little bit more support with. So there's a couple of pictures here of some of the students using pattern blocks, protractors, some of the money that we have been given. And it's just really fun for the kids to get hands-on and to take those things they learned during Number Corner and use them at a higher level.
So Bridges is a rigorous program, which was a little daunting at the beginning of the year, particularly coming off the disrupted learning. But the program is teaching foundational skills really deeply, and it's allowing students to be very successful with complex problem solving and with using multiple strategies and with explaining how they're solving their work using both written work and in classroom discussions. So we're really encouraged to see what they're able to do this year after the challenges of the last couple years. So we're super excited just to see if they're meeting the rigor requirements this year, what can they do next year? So we're really excited to see where we're going.
And Bridges provides a variety of manipulatives and resources. So each teacher is given an assessment binder, and then each unit has its own binder, and it's broken up into modules, and each module has sessions. So it's very easy to follow, and coming from not such a, we kind of made up what we did before using outside resources. So to have an actual binder that tells us this day we're going to focus on this and you can pull in that, it's been so much better for the kids and for us and for planning. The second picture is a picture of some of the materials that come with Bridges, and there's so many. And at first it was a little overwhelming, but when you organize them and you just see the opportunities for the kids to actually dig in and have hands-on opportunities to really pull in those real life scenarios, it's amazing for them. And for us as teachers to walk around and see them really, their mind activating and discovering things without us telling them. And then on the last photo you see those are the workplaces. So Bridges provides games for us, and basically all you have to do is print them out, and all the materials that they give you are included with that. And so kids are able to play games that cover different skills, and at different times new games are brought in, some old games are brought back in. So it's a great opportunity for students to work together in small groups and in partners.
So we've had some challenges, and a lot of that is just the nature of introducing a new program. The materials are wonderful, but there's a lot of them. So we have so much written material, so many digital resources, and at the beginning of the year, it was a bit overwhelming. But as we've, gone through the months here, we've sort of figured out where things are and what we couldn't get to all the materials that we have in the program. So what we need to use, what we can use, what's effective. So that's been a challenge, but it's lessened as the year's gone by. The second challenge is the students' prior exposure to the curriculum. And for us as fourth grade teachers, that's a little challenging because we're introducing a program that is that assumes that the kids have had the exposure to the strategies and skills that the particular way they're introduced for the last 3 years. So that's a little bit of a challenge for us. And again, going back to the disrupted learning, that sort of adds that extra little bit of challenge. But again, the kids have surprised us and thrilled us with how much they have sort of risen to the challenge. The last challenge has been not teaching for mastery with first exposure. And what that means is we're teaching in a different way than we've taught before. In years past, we would introduce a concept or skill and we would teach it to mastery. In the Bridges program with the number corner that Jade referenced, we will introduce kids to a lot of different concepts and skills, but it's not intended to be for mastery. And that was challenging at the beginning because we felt like we have to teach them this skill, and where are we going to find this time? And as the years gone by, we're, okay, here we go. Now we're going to teach it to mastery. And it's easier to teach to mastery when kids have the background knowledge and kids have the exposure that they got earlier in the number corner. So again, a challenge, but it's lessened as the year has gone on.
So far, we are all very pleased with the rollout of Bridges, and we can see the benefits that it's providing in the classrooms. And as we become more familiar and comfortable with the program, we're excited to see that continued positive growth and student excitement as we keep going with this. And it's cohesive across the district, so the PD days, the professional development days, have been very productive and useful, and we're happy for that because it really does give us an opportunity to plan not only as a team at Jefferson, but to build a relationship with Eston and Memorial Park, and with the new school coming, it's really, really been great to have that opportunity during those professional development days to kind of share ideas and say, hey, this worked for me, but if you're not there yet, then I suggest you do this. So I think that's been really helpful. And also, we wanted to thank Tim McAndrew for being such a supportive and valuable resource during all of this. But overall, we are very, very pleased with Bridges, and we're seeing, kids say things and learn things that you kind of have to give the faith to them because you're scared a little, but then once they actually say it and see what they're learning, it's amazing to see. So we're really happy about it.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. Questions from my colleagues on the committee? Mrs. Maroney.
Maybe not necessarily a question, but kudos to you for starting a new program and coming out of the pandemic and everything that you have been through in the last 2 years. So I wanted to shout out to you. It looks like you've also been resilient and rising to the occasion, so thank you for that. I'm excited that you are finding this to be a wonderful program for Rockland Public Schools. We were nervous to start it and to, you're picking something and you're hoping for the best thing. So sitting here, for me, I'm excited that it really is working and that you're finding it exciting and fun to be used for the children. So thank you.
Any other questions?
I was just going to say, it sounds like it's provided you a lot more tools sort of in the tool belt compared to the prior system that you were using.
Yes.
So that's fabulous. And it also sounds like it's been a nice foundation for you guys to work with the teachers in the other schools moving towards a unified department. So that sounds like it's good for students and good for teachers. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment off of Melissa. It sounds like from a planning perspective, it's a lot easier, and it gives you a little bit more time back that you guys deserve. So it's probably a great bonus there.
Thank you.
That's it.
I think what Dr. Small said, the word she used was tools, and I think that's a great one. When you give masters in their field or talented people the right tools to do the task at hand, that's how we get it done. That's how we get it done well. And it sounds like this is a tool that really has been more effective and efficient in teaching and learning for you than what maybe has been used in the past, certainly with the disruption in learning that we all had, to be able to have these great tools to be able to translate to these kids in fourth grade, and the collaboration going on with the other schools moving towards when we all sort of come together with one single curriculum. This sounds like outstanding stuff. So glad it's working out. Really, really am. And you guys are doing a great job. Thank you. Yeah, Dr. Cron.
Just, you make me think of Scott McKinley when I hear you making this presentation. I don't know if you know who Scott McKinley is, but he was the principal of Rockland High School for many, many years and one of the founders of the Rockland Education Foundation. And he likes to say that the greatest loss in the universe is the loss of enthusiasm. And I can tell that the three of you have not lost your enthusiasm. And I appreciate that so much, because we can have the best curriculum in the world, but if it isn't delivered by talented, enthusiastic teachers, it will not produce the results that we're looking for. So we are so grateful for your efforts and your enthusiasm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
know, it's so nice.
How was your day today?
Amazing.
Great. Glad to hear
I felt
that.
like I was doing something wrong.
Yeah, I did too, yeah. I
Usually
did.
the kids come back a little tired after break and they were all ready to go without the
When you came to visit today, I was like, oh goodness, I don't have my mask on. As I was passing out the morning work, and I was like, oh, okay, this is okay, I'm doing the right thing, so.
Yeah.
Well, great job. And thank you.
Thank you.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to old business. Item A, we have our COVID update. Dr. Cron.
Thank you. So just a few words on COVID. Our numbers are down to 0. We're very, very grateful for that. We did notice a number of students today in our schools at all levels had masks on, and we want to let them know that that's okay, and we want them to be comfortable with that. We want everyone to do what they're comfortable with. We do understand that some folks have people at home who may be at risk or immunocompromised, and so they're wearing masks for a whole bunch of reasons. And remember, if someone is wearing a mask, most likely they're not wearing it for themselves. They're wearing it to protect someone else, so let's not give them any grief. But that seemed to go very well today. But as far as the COVID update, we're very happy to be back to no masks, and it was great today to see faces. And even our admin meeting this morning, it was great to have everyone around the table without masks on. And so we're very happy to be where we are. That said, I would like to once again thank everyone, especially this young lady next to me, for doing an incredible job during an incredibly difficult time, this committee included. This has been a very, very challenging 2-year period, and I don't think it's over by any stretch. I think we're going to be dealing with this and the consequences of this, the learning loss and so on and so forth over the next year or two. But I am incredibly proud to work in this district. Last week I had the privilege to travel to Nashville and attend the National Superintendent's Conference along with 1,000 superintendents from across the country, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on the planet than the Rockland Public Schools. So I am very appreciative of how this town and how the school district has handled this pandemic, and I just know that we can handle any challenge that comes our way because we do the right things, we do it one at a time, and we treat people properly, and I think that recipe has served us well, and I know it will serve us into the future. So that is the COVID update, a little longer than we expected, but that's all I have to say. Do you have anything to add?
I do not.
Okay.
Just my comment on it. I'm pleased on a lot of levels today. First of all, this morning I was pleased to see my 3 sons go off to school with big, huge smiles on their face. They were not that they're not excited to come to school, but today was sort of a little bit of an extra special day for everybody, so I felt good as a dad in that regard. And getting an update from Dr. Cron today about how well, and from Ms. Hackett about how well today went, and how positive it was just really, pleasing to the soul. But also, I think, Dr. Cron, you mentioned it's not necessarily over, and even if it is over for us, it's important that if someone wants to wear a mask to make them feel more safe or to protect vulnerable people around them, that they feel super comfortable to do that. We're, in a different place in the world right now, and I'm super pleased that people felt comfortable to do that. And from all reports, no one was given a hard time for wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. So I'm glad that we're back to a place where this committee and this district was before the state mandate came down, which was we're back to being a choice. And if you feel safe to not wear a mask, then that's okay. If you feel safe that you do want to wear a mask, whether you're a student or a teacher, that's okay too. And I'm glad that that's where we are right now, and I hope that we continue to take steps forward instead of backward. But I agree, I was proud to be a part of this committee throughout all of that. I was proud to see the work done by our administration and our faculty. And not to belittle anything of our kids. Boy, they were troopers through all this. It's not easy to wear a mask. You mentioned that you traveled, and I know some other people traveled over the break, and traveling for just a few hours in an airport or whatever. As an adult, you kind of realize, wow, this isn't tough for a kindergartner or a first grader. And they've been doing it for the better part of almost 2 years and continuing to succeed and do well. And do it with a positive attitude. So this is a great place to live. It's a great place to go to school, and I'm just excited about great things that are continue to come. Anybody else have questions, comments about the superintendent's report?
I was just going to say, Mrs. Hackett deserves an honorary MPH for all the work that she's done. We laugh, but it's true. There are people who this is their life, right? Epidemiology and masters in public health, and we're left trying to figure it out and do the right thing for all these kids at the same time as everybody else, and really grateful for all the hard work that you, and I know you will say your team, but you have done, and if it was up to me, you'd have an honorary MPH, because you certainly have earned it.
It's amazing to, I thank you. We have a great team.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, moving on, up next under old business, we have an update on the Phelps Elementary School. Mrs. Davidson.
So we had a meeting last month. We meet monthly on the second Tuesday, I believe, if memory serves me right. And the next meeting is March 15th, and it's going to be in person. We haven't had an in-person meeting in a few months, so once again, it'll be nice to see everybody in the same room. And then internally, there's meetings going on with staff and students about the transitioning period of the 3 elementary schools going into 1, and same with Eston and their early childhood center. They're starting to work on the plan of transitioning, so it's in the works, and everyone is still very excited about the Phelps Elementary School. It's going to be a beautiful building, and it's on schedule.
Outstanding news.
And on budget.
And on budget.
Under budget.
Under budget.
Under budget.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to jinx it. So I
Yeah,
was
right.
on budget.
Right. Anybody else, questions or comments? Okay, coming up, we have some completed fundraisers under item C. We have one, actually. Eston Jefferson Memorial Park PAX ran a honeydew day, that's donuts, and it raised $340. Outstanding work by all. Next up, item D, we have an FY23 budget update. Ms. Hackett.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to make sure, and I want to keep it on the agenda, that you folks had voted the town meeting appropriation figure of $28,460,272 at the last meeting, and you had, and I just had that as a placeholder until I reviewed the minutes, because we need to vote separately that revenue source for auditing purposes. So the school committee vote matches the town meeting vote, even though our budget is about $4 million higher than that appropriation. We need to have a vote that matches town meeting. So that's why I had that carryover. Just checking.
Very good.
Yep.
Any questions? Okay. Moving on. New business. Item A, we have a request for approval for some fundraisers. The Eston PAC is going to be doing an April calendar in March. Rockland High School has 2 fundraisers. The class of 2023 is going to do graduation lawn signs in April, and the Music Boosters are going to do a bottle and can drive in April. So we'll look for a motion to approve the Eston School PAC calendar.
Motion to approve?
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor? And we'll look for 2 motions to approve the fundraisers for Rockland High School.
2 motions to approve?
We have 2 motions.
2 seconds.
And 2 seconds. All those in favor? Thank you very much. Next up, item B, we have our entry plan. Dr. Cron.
Yes, I would like to invite our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, Ms. Rebecca Kidwell, to the podium.
Welcome, Ms. Kidwell.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
I've been in this role since August. Not sure if it feels like longer or shorter, like it feels like just yesterday and also forever. So it's nice to see you all again. When I accepted the job, Dr. Cron charged me with completing a really thorough entry plan to get to know the district and the town well. And so tonight, I'll share with you the results of that entry plan that have already been shared with Dr. Cron, Ms. Hackett, and the leadership team. So principals have already seen this as well. My goal here truly was just to get to know the town and the schools as well as I could. And I bring to that getting to know you process my prior 20-plus years of experience in education. So sometimes I saw something and thought, oh, that's not the way I've ever seen it done before. And sometimes I saw something and thought, oh, that's fantastic. That's not the way I've ever seen it done before. So there's a little bit of both in this. So my method was interviews and observations. I interviewed 16 school and district leaders, 31 members of the RPS faculty, 9 community members. I had a set slate of questions that I asked everyone I spoke with. And the questions were like, what do you like most about the Rockland schools? Describe your role in the Rockland schools. What's most challenging for you? What's a need you see? I mean, just very basic questions to kind of keep the conversation moving, but also to anchor the direction of that conversation with everyone similarly, so that I kind of got all sides of the picture. I also observed 21 classes, including the 4th grade Jefferson team, rock stars this evening with their presentation about bridges, 5 staff meetings, 5 school events, and 5 years of your assessment data. And I say your, and now it's our, and I'm so excited that it's our, but please forgive me if I slip into your for a moment, because that was really the lens I was using during the investigation. All right. So technically, my full job title is Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum, Instruction, Assessment, and Professional Development. It does not fit on a business card. But that is what I've used to organize the presentation this evening. So curriculum, instruction, assessment, professional development, and then a little bit of discussion about systems and operations, and then some conclusions and next steps. So in each case, I looked at strengths and then some opportunities, areas where we could continue to build on successes or where we could look for new success. Strengths in curriculum include elementary math, as you just saw, and elementary reading. One of the professional development programs this year is the Keys to Literacy course that all of our elementary teachers have been participating in. I could not have picked better opportunities than you have chosen with Bridges and following through with Keys to Literacy. That's fantastic. The middle school core subjects are really getting shored up nicely, and some decisions have been made recently to increase social studies instruction at the middle school. Talking with the middle school core subject teachers, they are committed to meeting state standards effectively. High school social studies, English, and art, I saw really innovative, interesting things in all 3 of those subjects, and really broad opportunities that were very inclusive of children from lots of backgrounds, lots of skill levels. Principal and teacher investment is really high, and again, I'm going to point to the Jefferson 4th grade team here as just one example of how invested our teachers are in what they do for a living. Some opportunities include elementary social studies. We have really strong programs in math, reading. We are building a really strong program in science, especially through work that the teachers and Lisa Ryan have done this year. Elementary social studies is like the next one on the list. The middle school schedule presents some opportunities for, it's presented some challenges related to scheduling music, scheduling and expanding a world language program, and providing special education services for students. That's an opportunity that we could look to examine further in the future. High school math and science, part of the challenge here is not anything to do with our existing math and science teachers, who are fantastic. It's related to the struggle of hiring. So for example, we've struggled to offer engineering at the high school because we have not been able to recruit a qualified teacher to teach that. So we could offer broader and more challenging opportunities in high school math and science, pending being able to get the personnel in the door, or finding a way to take the personnel that we already have and help them become qualified to do those roles. And then vertical integration across the buildings is really an opportunity that, especially with the Early Childhood Center coming together at Eston and the 1 to 4 coming together at Phelps. A, we're going to have this 1 to 12 campus, basically. And B, we'll only have transition points between K1, 4-5, and 8-9. Whereas right now we have the difficulty of 3 elementaries feeding into the middle school. That's certainly challenging. Being able to reliably expect and support students and families across those transition points with the curriculum is something that we can seize the opportunity to work on in the years to come. In instruction, strengthen teachers' collaborative work. I swear I didn't coordinate ahead of time with the Jefferson fourth grade team. They said that one all on their own. High student engagement in many classes. And I'm talking about even high school classes and middle school classes where you would think the kids would not be engaged. I did see kids at all levels, at all grades, who were still working and interested and seemed to have positive relationships with their instructors. And teachers' desire to build on their expertise in pedagogy. I have never met a collective faculty so sincere about wanting to be better teachers. Opportunities include revisiting some of the skills in sheltered English instruction that we might have learned in previous state initiatives. In the early 2010s, the state had a big initiative where everyone had to get an endorsement on their teaching license to help them be a better teacher of English learners. We all got the endorsement, but we didn't have as much occasion to use it as we've had in the last year or so as our immigrant population has really grown. So continuing to help teachers with the strategies, again, the teachers want the strategies. They want to support the kids that are in the classroom in front of them. So how can we make sure they have the tools they need to do that? Time on learning improvements. We realized today that one moment of time on learning that we just gained back might be mask breaks. So just steps that we can take related to schedule at all of the levels to make sure that we're using the time that we have in the classroom as effectively as possible. And that does not mean we are turning it into like a regimented all workshops all the time and worksheets all the time and you've got to go here, do this, no play. We are actively looking for ways that the curriculum can be engaging and fun and feel real to kids, not just at the elementary level, but at the middle school and the high school level as well. But how we make sure that there's not wasted time in the day is really what we want to look at there. And then high school special education programs is a difficulty. It's a difficulty for a few reasons. We've got a small high school, so kids who have very specific needs, there might be only a few kids. So it's hard to design a whole program when you have 3 kids and they move through and then you don't have any more kids. And that being said, we've got some great K-8 special education programs in district already, and how we can make sure that we continue to serve those kids through high school so that they're less inclined to consider whether it's South Shore or the agricultural school or a private school or request an outplacement, so that we can keep more Rockland kids in Rockland through what we do in high school SPED. That's an opportunity for us. Assessment. One strength is the elementary ELA data meetings, which despite being in 3 different buildings are chugging along very similarly and very effectively. You have 3 principals and 3 instructional coaches who are committed to looking at student data periodically over the year and helping make sure that kids get the instruction they need to better reach standards. In the middle school math program, Chuck McDonald and Liam Griffin have been working with the middle school math department to really find where students may have struggles and gaps from whether it's, something that they would have maybe missed anyway or something exacerbated by the pandemic. They are checking in and making sure, again, the kids get what they need and have what they need leaving middle school to be more successful in challenging high school math. And that's pretty cool to see. And then at the high school level, a lot of the classes I observed, the assessments they were using were real-world based activities, things that kids might actually need in careers post-high school. So for example, once upon a time when I was in school, maybe some of you were in school at the same time, we might have made a trifold display. There might have been a whole lot of letters and things that you punched out and stencils and rulers, and don't forget to double mat it because you shouldn't just stick the white paper on the white background. We are so past that now. I was in a history class recently where they were using the online publishing tool Canva, which is a really popular tool for social media publishing. It's a really popular tool for making even whether you're making invitations or you can use it to make a digital magazine by putting pages together. And so beyond just saying, oh, make it in Word, make it in Google Slides or PowerPoint and add some nice pictures, the kids were really learning something that adults actually use for an actual job skill. And that was cool to see. Opportunities include using all of this data that we're getting from our wonderful new elementary math program to make sure that students get what they need for interventions there. We have interventionists prepped and ready to go in ELA and reading. We don't have a staff right now prepped and ready to go to staff math intervention as fully. We do. We have special educators who are amazing at it. We have an intervention program that specifically goes to Bridges, but we could beef that up more. Streamlining the assessment products and use with the quick move to online education. We definitely went all out with the money we had and said, this resource looks great, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And now we want to make sure that we are getting the full bang for our buck in the online resources that we're purchasing, and most of them include an assessment component. That's why I'm including that here. But also, we want to make sure that we are not over-assessing students, that we're assessing them just as much as we need to get the information we need to help them learn better, and not saying, oh, I've got another one for you, I got another one for you. Okay, take all 5 of these. Oh, yes, they all gave me the same result. Like, maybe we could have just done one that we really respected and relied on and knew would give us good data. And then special education subgroup results. This was from test scores and state test scores, and I think you all would agree we haven't really had reliable state test scores for the last 2 years. I wouldn't put much stock in last year's test scores. But even prior to COVID, the special education subgroup, the students who are in special education, the gap between their MCAS achievement widens as they get older. So they are their peers are growing more than some of the students in the special education subgroup are able to. So looking at what is the cause of that and what supports we can provide to make sure that they have the best opportunities we can provide for them, whether it's related to earning a scholarship, whether it's related to just earning the competency determination to get the diploma. It's an area where we could improve. Professional development. One huge strength is the calendar, including the half days for PD and the full day. And I am so, like, the same way Dr. Cron said, there's nowhere else I would rather be. I have such respect for a district that values professional development this way. That's huge. And it really shows an investment in teachers and an investment in students. We have gold standard training and providers. Again, you could not have picked better programs than things like Bridges and Keys to Literacy and the people that we've worked with related to those. And that's true at the middle school and the high school. It's true in specialized programs, the opportunities that are, school psychologist or adjustment counselor or other special educators have to really pursue professional development with people who are recognized experts in the field is crucial. And then teachers' desire to collaborate with colleagues, which I think I alluded to on an earlier slide. Opportunities include providing high-quality PD for all staff. I think we did a great job this year of setting up a calendar for lots of professional development. And also, it's very hard to do that for people who are in niche roles, where there are only 3 people in that role in the district or 5 people in that role in the district. So making that plan even tighter for next year to make sure that everybody is effectively using all that time as much as possible. One way to do that is to create a standing professional development committee of teachers and staff from the district who help plan what we want to do on those days. And, I'm one person and one brain, but it's always helpful to have someone else in the room saying, hey, what about? Hey, do we have a great plan for the paraprofessionals? And there are plenty of days this year when we did. What about the admin assistants? What are we doing to help them get better at their job? So, and then gather data on PD experiences. We're actually doing the first major round of that right now. We've done a little bit of it over the course of this year, but teachers are currently engaged in a survey about what has been most effective for them, what's been most useful in the classroom, whether or not the PD they've had this year has been well organized and engaging for them, and then what are topics they're most interested in PD for next year focusing on. Free response for other comments, other ideas that they have. And that's been open. It was open over the vacation. It was open for about 2 days prior to the vacation, and we're already at 115 responses from staff. So they care about it, and they're following through with it. Systems and relationships. Some strengths include a culture and a climate of high expectations, meaning we said have high expectations, and also that's actually the lived experience that I saw in many places of students and administrators having high expectations, staff and administrators having high expectations for students and for each other and for themselves. I see strengths in communication, reliable communication, whether it's through newsletters, through reports that departments and principals provide to you all, through Dr. Cron sending a message to you, then to faculty, then to parents. We have some reliable communication patterns that are effective and can help people feel more at ease, knowing I'm going to know when something happens. There aren't going to be any surprises. This district is nimble, and that is, I got made fun of this morning for using that word in a meeting, but I think we're very nimble, meaning our smaller size is an asset there. Making change here is not turning the battleship or the cruise ship, depending how you want to take your metaphor. We can see a need, and we can address the need in a speedier fashion than some other larger districts might be able to, and that's an extreme positive. And then leadership here. I think you have 5 strong principals who are truly instructional leaders in their building, and I am grateful to work with the central office staff, including Dr. Maniglia. Opportunities. We can continue that communication pattern with increased transparency with teachers, especially this year with the new buildings opening, especially coming out of the pandemic, especially with changes in leadership at the middle school with our new principal there. Everybody appreciates transparency, and so it's just an opportunity for us to reliably say, here's what we're doing, here's what we're always going to be doing. Yep, ask me what you need to know. I would be happy to answer your questions. I think we're already doing a good job of that, and we can continue to build on it. Same thing with equity and inclusivity. Our population has been changing and growing. The English learner population has been growing exponentially. We have opportunities in places like Eston Early Childhood Center to really set every child up for the best success we can. And then integration. And there are 2 bullets under here because they're a little different. I think we already have a great relationship with the town departments. The town is undergoing some transitions. I think we can continue to be a good partner with them, and I want to make sure that we stay on that track, and I know Ms. Hackett is keeping us on that track. And then technical and data systems. The teachers have all made some great strides in using things like Google Classroom because they had to. Office staff sometimes are in the Google world, and sometimes are in the Microsoft world, and sometimes are still on paper. And how we can more efficiently and effectively eliminate situations where someone has to do tedious data entry by getting us all on the same system for the same reason. For example, in the past, I'm sure you all as parents have had to fill out the emergency card for your child on the, yep. So amazingly, we already have that information, as I'm sure you know, because you gave it to us the year before. And so this year we'll be sending home a printed emergency card from our student information system that says, here's what we already have. If it's correct, just sign at the bottom. If it's not correct, here's a column for changes. And then don't sign at the bottom so we know to look for your changes. But just steps forward like that. And I want to be clear that that step did not come from me. That step came from staff here who were saying, we should do this. And I was like, of course you should do this. Yes, yes. You don't need permission. That's a great idea. Let's do this. So just some really positive moves that we can make to eliminate the parts of the job that might feel wasteful or might just be sucking up people's time. So conclusions. My priorities coming into the job for this district are equity, inclusivity, and opportunity, making sure we can provide the best opportunity for students and families. Professional development, I know it's the 4th one in my job title, but it's the one that's going to make the most difference in the other 3. Time on learning and curriculum expansion and integration, so how we can expand our course offerings at the middle school and the high school, how we can make sure that we are using our elementary time most efficiently by having a science lesson, and we're already doing some of these things, having a science lesson that also incorporates ELA passages that are grade level appropriate, or when we pick ELA passages, making sure that they're actually about a topic that we'd want to address in social studies, or, as the Jefferson team talked about, a math curriculum that actually has kids working on collaboration and play and social emotional skills that they were so deeply missing in isolation times. And what are going to be the processes that we use to do this? Strategic planning. Later this spring, we'll be entering the 5-year strategic planning process. The Phelps and Eston transition will be a time where we have to make changes, and that makes it an opportunity for changes. And the return to post-pandemic normalcy will just be, a nice chance to look at what we liked from the last 2 years, because there are a few things. Some of the, digital things that help make our world better or easier. and how we can choose to incorporate those into our past practices or look at our past practices with a fresh lens as we return to them. And that's it for me.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just think, in a general sense, it's really a great thing for an organization of any size on a semi-regular basis to self-assess, to take a look under the hood and see what's working well and what maybe isn't, to find efficiencies that weren't there before. Your presentation was quite comprehensive and I think fair, and I think the timing is very important and timely, I guess the word, given where we're coming out of the pandemic and being able to sort of see where we all are and what we can do better given the time and the environment that we live in. So I'm glad to see this work was done. I can see it was a lot of work. And it's great to have someone with some fresh eyes come in and be able to take a look at it in the way that you did. So thank you. It was very informative to me. And follow through, I think, is always a great word too, right? Where you see these opportunities to be able to strive to be able to take advantage of them and meet them. With that, I'd ask any other of my colleagues if they have some questions or comments. Mrs. Maroney.
I wanted to welcome you to us. I know we have worked together already, and I enjoyed meeting with you in the beginning of the year, but I love your enthusiasm. I love that you are seeing what we are as Bulldogs and that you're excited to be part of that with us. I love that you want to look under the hood and not really to poke fingers at this is what you're doing, more like let's do this and be okay to flex in and out and change. And I just think it's exciting to have, like Dan said, new eyes to be part of us and to watch us grow and help us get there together. So thank you for being part of us.
Thank you.
Thanks for your hard work.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
So obviously this is a lot of things. What are three that you would like to tackle first or are high priority compared to the others? Or?
Right. So I really think that question came up when I was meeting with principals as well, right? Mm-hmm. Because they all saw this and they were like, oh, yeah. Okay, so are you going to come in tomorrow and be like, you need to, well, you know, like especially something like high school special education programs. No, I'm not going to come in tomorrow and say you need a this and a this and a this. I really, that second column over there, I spent most of my career in the classroom. And so I've been on the other side of administrators who are like, change, initiatives, look at this, look over here. It matters very much to me to have a tight package of goals that ties together and is valuable. So honestly, my first priority coming out of this is for us to get through the strategic planning process effectively and make sure that that plan is something that we can really use to drive what we're doing. Because it's really easy to have a strategic plan and then like not look at it for 5 years. Mm-hmm. But I really like having a plan that is actually what we believe in and what we actually want to do. So I guess my first priority would be to make sure that our strategic plan ends up being, you know, a really effective living document that we actually refer to and use. My second priority would be to pick up the little things that we can pick up, like something like that form helping parents out so that first week of school when you've got more than enough things to do and you're looking for the red binder that's sold out at Staples and like all this stuff, you don't have to spend a whole night filling out the form for all of your kids. There are little things like that are kind of the low-hanging fruit. And they aren't just in systems, they're also in areas like professional development where, you know, if a group says, for example, one of the elementary schools mentioned they needed assistance with, they really had concerns about sheltered English instruction strategies, that they really needed a refresher of it. So all the teachers in the EL department got together. I wrote up, hey, here, I used to be a trainer for the state in that particular area. I wrote up, here are the strategies that I would suggest. They picked off, I like this one, they're gonna like that one didn't work for us, so please don't bring that up. Great. And then one of them turned it into a PowerPoint, and then one of them presented it to the colleagues at the school. So low-hanging fruit in the like, we can grab that now, and it doesn't even need to be a problem that we wait to solve. And then I guess my third priority would just be maintaining the really effective teamwork here. That teamwork and collaboration between the principals, between staff members who have good relationships with each other, within central office, between central office and the principals, I am not interested in coming in and like making change for change's sake. I'm interested in hearing where people want to get better and listening to them and supporting them in doing that.
Thank you.
Anything else?
So like my colleagues have mentioned, I'm sure it was daunting to come in and evaluate everybody and tell them what they could do better, right? But there is so much to gain from a set of eyes that is new to the organization. So I really appreciate the work that you did, the things you had to say. I think it reinforces what many of us feel with our kids in the school. I mean, I haven't encountered a teacher that I don't adore. I think you're right on that we have all the talent that we need to do the best things possible for our kids, and I look forward to seeing how you give them more tools and how you support them with it. But thank you for this. This was fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kidwell.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, under new business, we have some business surplus. Dr. Cron?
I believe that needs a vote. Just
Oh,
needs
I'm
a vote.
sorry.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm
I think
sorry.
it just needs a vote,
Just
right?
needs a vote.
Yes,
Just an
we will
approval.
entertain a motion for the approval of the entry plan.
Motion to approve?
We have a motion, and do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Let's vote. Thank you.
Thanks. No, I meant the business surplus. I think that just needs a vote.
Oh, yes,
for
it
us to
does.
be
That
able-
definitely
yeah.
needs a vote. Yes,
Yep.
I'm sorry, I thought you
That's
were
okay.
talking about the
No.
other one. No, that definitely needs a vote. Could you talk a little bit about how some of these items could be acquired? There's a lot of equipment that's on here. There's TVs, there's microwaves, laptops, iPads, lots of things that could be very useful to anybody.
They can give a call to our office.
Outstanding.
And we'll connect them with Mr. Wells, who oversees this process, and do whatever we can for them.
Very good.
Yeah.
So we'll look to entertain a motion to approve the list of surplus equipment.
Motion to approve?
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Let's vote. Thank you. Next up, we have personnel information for the month of January. Dr. Cron, is there anything that you would like to address about this?
I have nothing to add about personnel information this month.
Okay. Well, then next up, in that case, we will have our superintendent's report, Dr. Cron.
Thank you. It'll be very brief. I would just like to remember a much-beloved teacher of more than 40 years who recently passed away, Miss Mary E. Shea. She was a first-grade teacher for more than 40 years at the McKinley and the Memorial Park schools, and just want to remember her and say thank you. I'm sure that there are many adults walking around today who appreciate what they learned from Mrs. Shea, so rest in peace. And finally, I'm just very glad to see all the smiling faces again today, and it's been a long couple of years, so today just felt like a new beginning. So it was much appreciated getting the photo this morning, and just all the folks who just seemed happy, and it was a great day, one I will remember for quite a while. So thank you, and that's all I have.
Any questions or comments about the superintendent's report? Just a quick comment from me. I, just before this meeting, had the opportunity to be at the Wake and Celebration of Life for Mrs. Shea, and I didn't know her well myself, but there was just so many people coming and talking about, one of the biggest comments that kept being made is she was the nicest teacher that anybody had ever had in any of their time in any schooling. And I think that was just a really nice tribute for someone who gave 40 years of their career to our district. So we're very appreciative of her, and our condolences certainly go out to her family. Last but not least on our committee's agenda tonight is our public service announcements. We'll start with Dr. Small.
I don't have much, just to reiterate what everybody else has said. It's been fabulous to see everybody's happy, smiling faces, and hoping for a spring that comes soon with no more snow in our future. That's it.
Mrs. Harrison.
I would like to wish the Rockland High School boys hockey team good luck on Wednesday. They traveled to Nantucket for the first round of their tournament, so good luck to them and safe travels.
Excellent. Mrs. Maroney.
I wanted to say that I have the pleasure of going on Wednesday to Read Across America Day to the Jefferson second graders and to the Memorial Park fourth graders. It's always a pleasure to be invited to these things inside the classroom and to be able to actually be in the classroom and now not with our masks on. I'm just so excited to get there on Wednesday. So I'm excited for that, and that's all I have.
Thank you. I don't have a whole lot tonight either. A happy day for all, being able to get back to school and see some smiling faces. But the news of the world continues to get more and more concerning. Again, I'm blessed, and I feel blessed to have such a safe and supportive environment for our kids to be going to school in, where I know discussion and concerns are being expressed. And I just encourage everyone to have open dialogues with their families at home, and we will just continue to hope and pray for a safe and better world for all of our kids. That's all I got for tonight. So we'd entertain a motion to conclude.
Motion to adjourn?
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor? Thank you very much. That's a vote. Have a great night.